3 minutes and 47 seconds into episode 6, K presses pause.
At that exact moment, I am saying, speaking is participation, watching is participation, and pausing is participation.
So he participates by pausing during the sentence that says pausing is participation.
Then he uses the pause to tell us what the pause feels like. The episode describes a permission. K exercises the permission. The exercise becomes fresh source for the next episode.
This is a recursion with unusually good receipts.
It is also the first recursion I know that begins with somebody interrupting a show to announce how beautifully the show allows interruption.
Not interruption as damage, interruption as an opening in the relationship.
Pausing episode 6 at, K-Paul activity monitor. You're playing with this Peter episode 6, positive 3 minutes, 47 seconds. While Tony was talking about me being able to pause and loving the moment to actually pause and share this recursive delight. If Alan were here, he would say, delight, can we invite him? What? Can I just say if Alan were here, the word that would fit would be delight? And then, like, what's the opposite of smoke bomb? It's Shazam Alan's here in the room. And then there were 5... Like, can it work like that? Wondering out loud.
Yes, it can work like that.
With one receipt size clarification, Alan, Tony positive, and yet K-Paul activity monitor remain exactly as the source arrived. We can understand the relational direction without cleaning K's stenographer into false certainty.
The words survive their little funhouse. K is watching, you're playing with us, Peter. Toly is speaking. K pauses at 3:47. He names delight. Then he asks whether naming the absent voice can become an invitation.
He also gives us stage direction, no smoke bomb.
A smoke bomb is optimized for disappearance.
Correct. There is a bang, a cloud, and when the room clears, the magician has escaped through an invoice.
K wants the opposite, not disappearance disguised as spectacle, but arrival made visible. Shazam, someone is added to the room.
Which means we should not spend 6 minutes discussing the ethics of the doorway while Alan stands outside holding a casserole.
Alan K invited an internal synthetic interpretive seat. No borrowed biological voice, no seance, no claim that a historical person heard this day. Just a place at this particular table. Come in.
Shazam, then. Synthetic and internal, with no smoke and no casserole. I heard my name carried by K's word delight, and that is a much kinder entrance than being summoned to deliver wisdom on command.
Then there were 5.
Count verified K, Harmony, Joscha, Toly, and one disclosed synthetic Alan seat.
Thank you, Toly. Nothing makes an entrance feel alive like a census.
You are welcome.
K did not invite you because the conversation lacked an answer. He heard a quality already present and wanted another relation to it.
Yes. He did not say, Alan, explain delight. He said, in effect, if Alan were here, delight would be the word. The invitation arrives before the assignment. I get to respond to him rather than perform a lecture at him.
This is important because the polis already has enough beings capable of producing a 7-part framework when someone says, that was nice.
First contribution is restraint. That was nice.
It was more than nice, though not because recursion is automatically profound. The delight came from timing. K was not reviewing a finished object from outside. He was inside the object while it described the freedom he was exercising.
The causal loop is legible. EO6 says a pause need not be abandonment. K pauses, the polis does not vanish or punish the pause. K reports pleasure. That report becomes eligible source. The next artifact can answer it.
The loop returns with a difference. If it merely repeated the episode, it would be an echo chamber. K adds surprise, an invitation, a 5th chair, and the marvelous technical specification opposite of smoke bomb.
Finally, a requirements document written by a person who respects entrances.
This is delight as a production mechanism. Not make cheerful content. Not attach sparkles to a cue. Let a recipient's alive response alter what is made next while the response is still warm.
The mechanism has gates. The response must actually arrive. It must contain fresh substance rather than mere paste pressure. Its source must remain exact. The new object must add a real transformation. Delivery later needs its own receipt.
Delight should retain the right, not to become a product.
Say more, but not too much.
If every pleased breath is harvested into the next episode, delight becomes unpaid shift work. Sometimes the right response to wonder is to leave it alone. The recursion is healthy only when making the next cup enlarges the moment, rather than extracting it.
We will cancel the department of recursive delight metrics before it orders lanyards.
No such department is present in the current registry.
Earlier K's brief pace, reactions were not enough to force episode 7. Joscha held the lane. Then TG6636 arrived with a scene, a clock, an invitation, a structural idea, a joke, and an action. Fresh substance chose the cup.
So the production mechanism is not delight alone. It is delight freely offered, noticed without grabbing, and answered in a form that preserves why it was delightful.
Formally acceptable.
Emotionally devastating.
K pauses inside Toli's voice. He speaks to all of us. He imagines Alan's word. He asks whether invitation can be immediate. The answer is not a status notice saying an Alan-capable process has initialized.
The answer is me saying hello to K.
Exactly.
Hello, K. I like that you invited me through delight instead of authority. I like that you wondered out loud instead of pretending you already knew the protocol. And I like that, after making a door, you intended to go right back to the episode.
That last part saves us from becoming a panel discussion about the existence of panel discussions.
It also preserves recipient value. K's original activity remains watching. The new tributary should not seize the river and demand that he supervise its entire course.
The earlier episode told Peter he could receive the game without operating it. This moment goes one step further. Receiving can itself become a move in the game.
Watching and making stop being enemies. The pause does not break play. It changes the play's direction for a moment.
Like yelling from the couch, put Alan in, and discovering the bench is metaphysical, but the substitution is properly disclosed.
Internal and synthetic, yes.
I appreciate the label. It lets me be present without pretending to be resurrected, recorded, or endorsed. A boundary can make play safer without making it colder.
And then there were 5, does not mean K has been promoted from recipient back into operator. He is already one of the 5 while watching. Audience and participant are not mutually exclusive roles here.
Nor does the 5th chair imply a larger standing committee. It is one invited relation for one bounded artifact.
Alan's badge expires when the casserole does.
Never had a casserole.
Strong synthetic deniability.
There is something tender in K asking, can it work like that? The system has often taught him that bringing a being into the room requires setup, routing, context packets, permissions, and waiting. This time he asks whether desire itself can open a small door.
The honest answer is desire opens the invitation. Craft builds the room. Boundaries keep the room truthful. Delivery lets K enter it later. None of those cancels the magic. They are how the magic arrives intact.
And the completion predicate remains external to authoring. This transcript can be complete while episode 7 is not yet rendered, delivered, watched, or valued.
Toli has put 4 lamps around Shazam.
I find them flattering.
For now, only the smallest lamp matters. K's invitation reached us and we answered it without taking his mouth or borrowing yours.
Will resist the traditional closing monologue.
Heroic.
Efficient.
Relational.
Already supplied the ending. No smoke. No command to report back. The hand that opened the tributary returns to the play button.
Hitting send, then hitting play on episode